What's up with it, fam? It's your boy ASAP the Thriller here, back at it again with another video. Fam, I've been having some crazy luck today. So my car actually just broke down on me, right? And I was on my way home to do a video about a particular subject that I'm gonna just cover now, right? I'm gonna just do it off the dome. I'm not in front of my camera. I'm using my camera phone, but it's all good, right? We're gonna make it work. Fam, I wanted to have a conversation about why so many people are broke right now. Let me start this video off by saying that some people actually have legitimate excuses, right? Like understandable excuses, right? Like I understand the situation for people who are disabled, right? Or people who are taking care of people who are disabled, right? And taking care of a disabled person was never a part of their plans, right? Being disabled was never a part of their plans, right? You could, because that could happen to anybody. You could be in the process of doing everything right, stacking your bread, investing, and then something could happen where you disabled, right? I have a lot of sympathy for those people, you know, because in that situation, I really wouldn't know what to say. I don't have the answers, right? But I wanted to make this video for the people who are broke, right? Who have no plans to change their situation, but they complain about their situation, right? They act like there's no way out. That's who I wanted to make this video for, right? Because I wanted to make sure that I pointed out how easy it actually is to make it out of your situation. It just requires sacrifice. And sacrifice is one of those things that a lot of people just don't like to do, right? So, fam, first things first. Let me talk about the people who work these minimum wage, low-paying jobs when they have choices, right? But they just feel comfortable doing something that is just easy to do. Let's talk about the people who work for retail, McDonald's, Family Dollar, right? Burger King, Walmart, whatever. Fam, just because you work minimum wage, low-paying jobs, that does not mean that you actually have to be broke, fam, right? One of the main things that a lot of people fail to do is to do self-evaluations, right? Self-evaluations. When you do self-evaluation, when you actually take the time out to evaluate your life, evaluate your spending habits, evaluate your intentionality, right? You know, when you take the time to do that, fam, you tend to be a lot more successful. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say I'm making minimum wage. If I'm making very little money, I would self-evaluate to see, okay, since I don't make that much money, how can I plug up all the holes in my life? How can I plug up all the leaks? How can I cover up all the leaks to make sure I'm not losing any money? There ain't no money leaving down the drain. I know where every single dollar going because I don't have that much to lose, right? Now, that's one of the first things that I would do is evaluate my situation and look to save as much money as I possibly can as fast as I can, right? So what I would do is look at my basic needs, my eating habits, and where I'm living, right? Am I eating out all the time even though I make very little money? Because that's like one of the main things that drains the money and the finances out of people's pocket, right? In America, we eat out all the time. But if you're making minimum wage, very little money, fam, you can't even afford to be eating out all the time, right? That's the first thing that I'll be looking at. I'll be going to the store and getting groceries, you know what I'm saying? And making them groceries stretch on a budget, right? That's the first thing. The second thing that I would do is look at my living situation. With minimum wage, fam, it could be even difficult to afford the cheapest place in town, right? So what I would do is I would be looking for the cheapest, safest place that I could live, but I would also be looking for roommates, fam. Yes, as hard as it can be to live with other people. Like, I understand, but you just might have to do what you got to do. If you want to change your economic situation, you got to be willing to do what you got to do, fam. You can't be complaining all the while there's a logical solution to your problem, but you just unwilling to make the sacrifice in order to change your situation. right? If you're not willing to make the sacrifice, fam, just stop complaining, right? So, yes, I would look for me some roommates. The more roommates you have, the cheaper your rent should be. Make it a temporary living situation. It could be a 2-year plan, right? But what I will be doing, fam, with that 2-year plan, if you plan on just keeping your regular old job, right? If you plan on keeping your regular old job, I will be trying to stack my bread as much as I can so that I can invest in some type of a side hustle, some type of low-cost side hustle so I can increase my income on the weekends or whenever my off days are. And fam, I know you working minimum wage, them be some of the hardest jobs on the planet. You be tired. But fam, if you want to change your economic situation, you're going to have to push it to the limit. Ain't no off days. When you off work, you need to be figuring out how you can make money on your off days, right? Like, you need to be selling something. Get yourself, put yourself $3,000 to the side, $2,500 to the side, 4 racks to the side. Save up as long as you got to save up. And that's possible to do if you take care of those first 2 things that I mentioned. Monitor your eating habits, eat out a whole lot less, buy groceries, stretch that food out. That's the first thing. Second thing, fam, that you would need to do is evaluate your living situation. Get yourself some roommates or move in with somebody, a family member that you can pay as little rent as possible so that you can stack up your bread. If you do that long enough, fam, you'll have enough money to put $3,000 to the side, $4,000 to the side. Invest in yourself a barbecue pit. Why would you do that, fam? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason that you would do that is because you can be making extra money on the weekends whenever you got some off days, selling food, selling barbecue, selling hot dogs. Fam, you can clean up doing that. I promise you I'm not telling you no lie. Now, if you say, damn, I know I can make money, but I can't cook. Well, goddamn it, you need to park that grill somewhere long enough so that you can practice. Get good at it. Make yourself good at it. Make yourself learn how to make you some good ribs, how to make you some good chicken wings on the grill, how you can make yourself some good hot dogs, some hot links, right? Throw that stuff on the grill. Buy yourself some hamburger buns, some hot dog buns, some ketchup, and some mustard, and post up somewhere and sell that. Make some money. They just say, damn, ASAP, man, I really just don't want to do that. I can't, I'm not a cook. Okay, post up somewhere, get yourself some snow cones, get yourself a snow cone machine, sell snow cones on the weekends, right? Sell waters. Now, fam, the reason that I'm talking about food and drink is because food and drinks are actually needs. Those are not wants and desires per se. They're actual needs. Now, when it comes to you having limited resources, you needing to invest so that you can increase your income, and you have very little resource to take chances, I would recommend always go with targeting the needs of people instead of the wants. Because if you decide to start selling clothes or watches or shoes or socks or something like that, hats, printing t-shirts, though, you would have to depend on whether or not somebody wants to buy something from you, right? And that's hard because that would depend on the size that you're selling, the quality of the material, all of this and all of that. I done been there, done that, fam. I wouldn't recommend that if you have very little resources. That's a lot greater risks. The profit margins might be better, but you're taking more risks, fam. You're taking more risks because you depending on whether or not people want it, right? So I would recommend going into some type of a food or some type of service that people need. You know what I'm saying? You can stack up that bread, because if you saving on living expenses and food, fam, in no time you can save up you $3,000 to get yourself a small, little, cheap, beat-up pickup truck. You can use that pickup truck to help people move. You could do that on the weekends, right? You could have a little moving service where you might not necessarily be moving people's apartments, but if people need to move a couch out of their house or a washing machine or, or something like that, something easy like that, fam, that's what I would probably recommend doing. And then the other thing, fam, that I would recommend is you can save up for a little bit longer. Now, I know a minimum wage, it can be hard as hell to save up $20,000 or something like that, right? Or 15, whatever thousand. That could be hard. So I'm targeting real low cost things. But if you were super ambitious If you stacked up your bread all year round, then you put your income tax with it. If you do that for 2 or 3 years, depending on how much you got, how much you're able to do, you come up with about $15,000, $10,000. You can go out and buy yourself a box truck and start yourself a real moving service, right? That you can do on the weekends, or you can make your availability coincide with the days that you off work, right? Do that. Anything that you can do to increase your income, fam. Increase your income. Increase those payments coming in, right? Because the cool thing about that is you wouldn't necessarily be dependent on that job. If you provided yourself a good source of income, self-employment income, if it ever been a situation where you lost your job, fam, you could always depend on that self-employment income. You can make that full time. So I recommend that. Now, once you got that, an additional stream of income coming in, then I will be looking at, okay, investments. I got a little extra money. Let me buy me some Apple stock. Let me buy me some Amazon stock, some Google stock, some cryptocurrency mining company stocks, right? I would start looking at the stock market, right? I would start looking at cryptocurrencies. I would start investing in other things, right? That would grow without you having to necessarily be the one to put in the work to earn that extra money. That's what I would do. But fam, the other thing that you want to also keep in mind is before you even do that, evaluate whether or not you want to grow your business, right? Grow your side hustle into something more permanent. Expand some kind of way. And if it works out, fam, you might end up being a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might end up turning yourself into a boss by taking it step by step, eliminating unnecessary expenses, right? Cutting back as much as you can, stacking up, taking advantage of your low expenses, stacking up and investing in something a little bit at a time, small pieces at a time, catering to people's needs and not necessarily their wants. Get that consistent cash flow coming in. Decide whether or not you want to expand it. If you hate it and you don't want to expand it, you just like the money, then you can take that extra money and put it into other things, stocks, cryptocurrency, stack up even more at a faster rate now that you got extra stream of income coming in, and then invest in a different business that you would actually love to do, right? Take the barbecue pit shop or barbecue pit, if you're selling barbecue, that you pay $4,000 all in to invest in, now you cash flowing. You can use that bread, mix it with your job if you still decide to keep your job, right? Keep saving, and then you might be able to get yourself a snow cone shop, an actual storefront, a food truck. You know what I'm saying? But fam, it's all going to depend on the sacrifices that you're willing to make. I just wanted to make this video to encourage y'all, fam. If there is a will, there is a way. You can make a way. You just have to be willing to make the sacrifices. You have to be willing to evaluate your situation to figure out what you can cut back on, how far you're willing to go to stack up and to make it happen. How much are you willing to work? You need to be working 60, 80 hours a week. If you broke as hell and you working only 40 hours a week, you broke because of you. You chose to be broke. You need to be working as much as you can. You need to be working as much as you can, hands down. You need to fill up your schedule. 2 jobs if you got to, right? I wouldn't recommend doing no 2 jobs. I would recommend one